There is nothing but skulls in the asylum today. Hello Arkham Horror fans, this is your game of the day. Remember that you can get in on the fun by heading over to surveymonkey.com, filling out the 3 quick questions, and letting me know which investigators and scenarios you would like to see me play here on the channel, and I will do my very best to bring you those games. If you like this sort of content, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel a great deal. Before we get started, I'd like to thank the patrons of this channel who have gone above and beyond to bring you content like these playthroughs. If you'd like to support the channel's goals and see your name on this list, head over to patreon.com, sign up for a tier of your choice, and claim your rewards. That would be awesome. Without further ado, let's play some Arkham Horror LCG. On today's game of the day, we are off to Arkham Asylum with Stella Clark. Patron of the channel, Laura Christic, wanted to see everyone's favorite mail carrier take on the Unspeakable Oath, so that is what we are doing today. It appears to be Lord Tryloth week here at the Whisper in Darkness. We are playing another deck built by Lord Tryloth. You may remember he built the Patrice Hathaway deck that we used to take on a Phantom of Truth in Doubt and Conviction mode. There are quite a few Stella Clark decks out there, and this one is, I think, fairly typical of the decks that are available. This one has 9 experience points, which is fairly typical for what you could end up going into the Unspeakable Oath with. It's got the 18 Derringer, 2 copies of Old Keyring, 2 copies of Rabbit's Foot, a copy of Leather Coat, 2 copies of Granny Orn 3, who is amazing, 1 copy of Drawing Thin, 2 copies of Track Shoes. The event package includes most of the standard cards that we expect from survivors these days. Look what I found. A Test of Will, Live and Learn, Lucky, Scrounge for Supplies, and Level 0 Will to Survive. The skills include Stella's signature skill, Neither Rain Nor Snow. There are 3 copies of that. We've got Resourceful, Stunning Blow, and of course 2 copies of Take Heart, and 1 copy of Unexpected Courage. Finally, we have Stella's weakness, Called by the Mists, and we will have to draw a signature, or not a signature weakness, a weakness when we kick off this game. I have not played Stella very much, probably since she was spoiled. I haven't played her very much. I know I recorded 1 playthrough with her, but so we shall see how she does here. I expect her to be very good indeed. Most of the Survivor investigators are very strong in the true solo format, and I expect no less from Stella. We are ready to get this game going. Let's swap over to Octagon here. We are set up. We've got Stella Clark here. I think we will have her start at the eastern patient wing of the asylum. Just a quick reminder that if you prefer to listen to these games of the day on as a podcast, you can head over to my blog, thewhispererdarkness.blogspot.com, where you can download the audio-only version. The audio-only version is also available on iTunes and Google Podcast, if that is your preference. I also will leave a link in the description down below to Lord Tryloth's deck if you are interested in giving Stella a try for yourself, either on your favorite tabletop of choice or in with real-life cards. I'm hoping that some of the investigator starter decks are more available than they have been. Finding them has been difficult of late, so hopefully those problems have been resolved. We're going to play this with the hard side of the Unspeakable Oath. That's a first for me. I usually play this on standard, but I've been playing most things with the hard side up recently, so we're going to continue that trend. And what else do we need to do? We need to Draw a weakness. And hopefully I will not forget to trigger it this time, because, man, that pissed me off. All right, let's see how we do here. We will shuffle up our weaknesses. We get kleptomania. That's not going to work. That is multiplayer only. The thing that follows. Oh, interesting. That is a very Path to Carcosa weakness to get. Haven't seen that one in a while. So, of course, the thing that follows: 3 fight, 2 health, and 3 evade. Spawns at the location farthest from you. It will hunt, and then if you defeat it, it goes back into your deck. So it's a pain in the butt for the entire game if we see it. So we are on Agenda 1A. It will advance after we get 2 Doom, and then Arkham Asylum. We need 3 clues in order to advance. Let's see which location we are at. We get the Eastern Patient Wing that has 2 clues, and 2 Shroud Value, 1 clue per investigator. And after you end your turn at this location, take 1 horror and gain 2 resources. So we will want to move on as quickly as we can from here. This remains one of my favorite scenarios in the entire Arkham Horror LCG. It can be very tense toward the end if you are not quick enough in discovering clues. So it's a good test of whether your investigator can fight and discover clues. It's unfortunately, it can also mean, if you're playing in a campaign, it can also mean the end of your campaign. Let's draw our opening hand and see how we do. So we get Will to Survive, Leather Coat, the Derringer, Scrounge for Supplies, and Neither Rain Nor Snow. So I think we'll mulligan the Will to Survive. I think we mulligan the Leather Coat. I think we keep the Derringer. And do we keep Neither Rain Nor Snow? It's 3 wild skill icons. We could use them to investigate the Asylum Halls here. I think we keep it. So we get a Stunning Blow. Track Shoes, that is an amazing card in this scenario, and Drawing Thin. So a nice, pretty good starting hand, I think. Stunning Blow obviously isn't going to do us much good right now, but Track Shoes and Drawing Thin certainly will. Of course, Stella having 3 willpower, 2 intellect, 3 combat, and 4 agility. And after we fail a skill test, we can take an additional action, her Elder Sign effect being +1, and you may instead choose to automatically fail this skill test to heal a damage and a horror. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to play Track Shoes and Drawing Thin. Let's go to turn 1. Get our 3 actions here, and I think we're going to go Track Shoes, Drawing Thin, and then Investigate. So Track Shoes, 1, 2, 3 resources for that. So we bump up our agility to 5. That is going to be very useful. We will play Drawing Thin as our second action. So now we can increase the, when we initiate a skill test, we can exhaust Drawing Thin to increase the difficulty of the test by 2. And I think we will then investigate, and we will commit Neither Rain Nor Snow to the Investigate action. We are going 2, 3, 4, 5, V2. Chaos Bag says -1, so we are starting off on the right foot. and we will grab this clue. This triggers after you end your turn at this location, take a horror and gain 2 resources. So we are taking 1 horror and gaining 2 resources. And that is going to be the end of the investigation phase. No enemies. We upkeep, we draw a leather coat. And that is our first turn in the bag. It is turn 2. 1 doom of 2. Encounter card is going to be Straitjacket. So we're already in the Straitjacket. No delay there. If there is no copy of Straitjacket in your threat area, we put that into our threat area. It takes up a body slot and 2 hand slots. We return each asset in those slots to your hand. Cannot leave play except by taking the double action to get rid of Straitjacket. So Stella arrives at the asylum and is immediately slapped into a straitjacket for her visit. Now, it is our turn. We can keep on moving. So let's move to the western patient wing. It is a 3 shroud location with 1 clue. Each lunatic enemy at this location gets +1 horror value. Now we don't have a way of investigating here. So I think what we do, we'd be going 2v3, which is not very good. So I think we use the track shoes to test 5v3 and see if we can't move up to the garden. Chaos Bag says, Skull. That is, reveal another token, and if you fail, randomly choose an enemy from among the set-aside monster enemies and place it beneath the act deck without looking at it. So we need to reveal another token. So we draw additional token from Chaos Bag. We get a cultist, that's -X. X being the amount of horror on you, so we do pass. We only have 1 horror, so we do get to move up to the guard. Do I have the yard and the garden reversed? I do. These 2 should be in this order. So we move up to the yard. We exhaust the track shoes, move up to the yard. While you were investigating the yard, it gets +1 shroud for each horror on you. So we have, we are going 2v2. So that's not great. I think we may drawing thin on this one. We can increase the difficulty by 2 to gain 2 resources or draw a card. So we'll go 2v4 and we will draw a card. We get a test of will. And we're probably going to fail this test. So we're going 2v4. Chaos Bag gives us a 0. We would have passed that if we hadn't done that. So, but we do get an additional action. So we're back up to 2 actions because of Stella's response. So I guess we just investigate now 2v2. See if we can't, or maybe we just draw a card. Let's draw a card. We get live and learn. Okay, that's good. So now we can go 2v2. We get a -3, so we're going to fail, but we can then commit the live and we can play live and learn to after this skill test ends, we can try it again, but we get +2. So now we're going 4 versus 2. And the Chaos Bag says 0 on that one. So we do discover the clue that time. And we are done. So we can, now that there are no clues on the yard, we can take a damage to remember that we incited a fight amongst the patients. And that will be what we will do next turn. We will incite a fight amongst the patients. I wonder how we do that. Oh, look what I found. Nice. We draw look what I found during the upkeep phase. We've got 6 resources, which is pretty good. And I think that's going to be our turn. It's turn 3. We are advancing. So now the lunatics will go into the deck. So shuffle the encounter discard pile and each of the set-aside lunatic enemies into the encounter deck. So we will do that. I believe all the lunatics are here. I don't think we have a discard pile, do we? We do not. So all the lunatics are in the deck now. And do we have to do anything else? The lead investigator must randomly choose an enemy from among the set-aside monster enemies and place it beneath the act deck without looking at it. So we'll shuffle up these enemies. And we will draw 1 card, which we will place beneath the act deck. And that is that. So Torturous Descent, 2A, we have a Doom threshold of 7. And we will draw an encounter card, which is going to be a Young Psychopath. After Young Psychopath engages you, you must either take 1 horror or Young Psychopath gets +3 fight until the end of the investigation phase. I don't think we are going to engage. We are going to fight the Young Psychopath. So we will be content to give it +3 fight this turn. Not a big fan of having the Young Psychopath at the yard, but we do have the track shoes, so we can get away fairly easily if we need to when we come back through this location. So Stella will get our actions. We will go 3 actions. So first action, we will attempt to evade. We will attempt to evade the Young Psychopath. So we will go, we are going 5v3. I think we're good the way it stands. We draw a 0 from the Chaos Bag, so the Young Psychopath is evaded. We leave the Young Psychopath to wander the yard and mumble to herself. There are no clues here, so we can take a damage to remember we instigated a fight. So we will take a damage to instigate a fight, and I'm just going to mark that with a thing to say that we've done that. And then we're going to move down to the Western Patient Wing. We will use our track shoes to go 5v3. Chaos Bag says Skull, that's reveal another token, and if we fail, we have to put another monster into. That is a skull, so that's going to be, we're going to have to put 2 monsters beneath the act deck if we fail this thing. That could be very bad. Where's another token? Let's draw 1 more. We get a +1. Okay, well, we pass. So let's keep moving. We don't lose our action yet. Actually, we did that, and we did move. So we are moving to the mess hall. Mess hall 2 shroud location. After you successfully investigate the mess hall, choose and discard 1 card from your hand. And it is worth a victory point. So we need, once we gain these 2 clues, we can advance the act deck. And that's going to be our turn. So we don't have any at the end of our turn effects. We will move to the enemy, the upkeep phase. We draw Rabbit's Foot. The young psychopath is ready at the yard with her knife. I don't know why they would allow psychopaths in the asylum to carry knives around, but that's maybe, I mean, Arkham Asylum is a bit different. They do things differently there. So, and that's going to be the turn. We're going into turn 4. 1 doom of 7. We still have the straitjacket on. And our encounter card is going to be Dance of the Yellow King. If there are no lunatic enemies in play, it gains surge. There is 1 lunatic enemy, so it does not surge. If you fail, the nearest lunatic enemy readies, moves 1 location at a time until it reaches your location, engages you, and makes an immediate attack. So that's a 3. So we're going 3v3. So we could play a Test of Will to try to cancel this, but that's not going to do us a ton of good. I don't have any icons. I do not have any willpower skill icons besides the Test of Will. Unfortunately, I don't really have a way of passing a Test of Will. I'd kind of like to get Rabbit's Foot into play so we can draw some more cards. Do I just draw... Drawing thin this? So we're going to get an additional action this turn, but we're going to get attacked, which isn't good. We might as well get the... I think we'll drawing thin this. We're going to get a card. We get a Take Heart. We could commit said Take Heart to draw 2 cards and gain 2 resources. Let's do that, since we know we're probably going to fail. So we're going 3v5, and we're going to get 2 cards and 2 resources if we fail this test. Chaos Bag says we get another... Oh no, now we're going to have to... we're going to draw... We draw a skull, so we're going to have to add a monster beneath the... we get a -1. So yeah, we would have failed. We have to go get ourselves a monster. So we'll grab this monster here, and it will go beneath the Act deck. I tend to find that the monsters we place underneath the Act deck don't really... I think there's been a couple games where they've come out and been a pain, but for the most part, they're not that bad. So we get a Stunning Blow and Granny Orn, and we get 2 resources from the Take Heart. The young psychopath shows up. When she engages us, we either have to take a horror, she gets +3 fight. She can have the 3 fight. We take a damage and a horror from her, and I believe that satisfies the our Dance of the Yellow King. So, and since we failed, we get an additional action during our turn. Thank you, Stella. So I think we start off by evading. Maybe evade move or evade investigate. Grab the 2 clues with Look What I Found. We want to get Granny Orn down as well. So let's start off by Doing that. Just gonna save the game here quickly. So we're going to evade first. So we are going 5v3. Do we have anything we want to commit to this? Not really. So we're going to go 5v3. Chaos Bag says -2, so the young psychopath is once again evaded. We want to get these clues, if at all possible. Can we do that? I think we play Granny Orn first. So as our second action, we play Granny Orn. So now we have 4 willpower and 3 intellect. And we can, when we fail, we can either fail by 1 more or 1 less. Or no, we can get, Investigator gets +1 skill value or -1 skill value. So let's just go 3v2. I want to just try to grab these 2 clues with look what I found. So 3v2, Chaos Bag says -3, so we drop down to 0. 0v2, so we fail this skill test. However, we can discover 2 clues. We did not successfully investigate, so we do not need to discard a card from our hand. So we will play Look What I Found to discover 2 clues. So we do that. And we have 1 action remaining, so we will continue to move down the row here to the kitchen. Kitchen is a 2-shroud location with 1 clue, and if there are no clues in the kitchen, we can test 2 willpower to set a fire in the kitchen. Burn, baby, burn. I don't know if Stella's a very good cook. I mean, she's a top-notch letter carrier, but I mean, just judging by the dishes in the sink there, nobody. Oh, what is that in the pot? I've never actually looked at the art on the kitchen. It's like the pot is filled with some sort of green goo. The sink is filled with green goo. There appears to be like a lasagna or something on the counter. Man, what a disaster. All right. So we have nothing that happens at the end of our turn. Nothing happens during the enemy phase. We draw another rabbit's foot during upkeep. So we have 2 copies of rabbit's foot. We can get that down. That would be nice. Draw an additional card. And we will gain our 3 actions. Technically, you gain your actions back during the upkeep phase. I tend to vary between upkeep and the beginning of my turn. But with Stella, it's good to remind myself that you do get them because she does have that opportunity to gain an additional action. It is turn 5. There is 2 doom on the agenda of 7. Our encounter card is going to be Walls Closing In. Test X willpower, where X is the shroud value of your location. If you fail, you must either take 1 horror for each point you fail by, or randomly choose an enemy from among the set of sad enemies and spawn it in the act deck. So we are going 4v2. I think that's good enough. I think we'll stick with 4v2. Chaos Bag says that is a cultist. That is equal to the amount of horror on you, and if you fail, you take 1 horror. So we go 2v2, so we pass. So that is not... Walls Closing In does not affect us. I'm quite content just to keep the straitjacket in on me, because I could take 2 actions to get rid of it, but I don't really need to right now. So what do we want to do on our turn? We want to grab this clue. We want to set the fire. We want to advance. We can do that now, actually. Let's advance. I don't think advancing here causes us any issues. So we can advance. Right. This is the nurse. So we have to decide any investigator tests 4 agility to steal the keys. So we will attempt to steal the keys from the nurse. So we're going 5v4. Do we have anything to commit? We could commit a rabbit's foot, but I'd rather... How much do I care about stealing the keys? This is standalone, so stealing the keys isn't that impactful. So we'll go 5v4. Chaos Bag says 0, so that paid off. So we successfully, Stella grabs the keys from the nurse, being very stealthy as she is, and pockets them, and we advance. That is the wrong agenda, or act, sorry. We're playing with the really bad ones too, because we did not take the... when you play standalone, you don't get the what is it? Bracelet? Clasp? The clasp. So we get the right one out. All right, so now we have to find Daniel. That will be the next task. So Stella, we steal the keys from the nurse. Let's investigate. We are going... Kind of like to get Rabbit's Foot down too. Let's play the Rabbit's Foot first. So Rabbit's Foot goes down. Let's try to investigate here. We're going to go 3v2. Chaos Bag says -1, so we succeed. So we grab this clue. Now we need to set a fire. There are no clues in the kitchen. Let's set the place ablaze and burn up that green goo that seems to be all over the floor as well. There seems to be dirty dishes on the floor. Looks like some sort of, I don't know what that is. Meat. Ugh. So we're going 4v2 to set the fire. Chaos Bag gives us a skull again. Many a skull being drawn today. We draw an additional token and we get a -1, so we do succeed in setting the fire. So we have set the fire and we have we have incited a fight amongst the patients, and that will be our turn. So that is that. The young psychopath stays where she is. We have nothing that happens at the end of our turn, and we go to upkeep. We draw a resourceful. So for those of you listening at home, in our hand we have an 18 Derringer, a leather coat, neither of which we can play because we've got a straitjacket on. We've got a Test of Will 0, Rabbit's Foot, 2 copies of Stunning Blow, and a resourceful. We will gain our actions back, and we will go to the next Mythos phase. It is turn 6, 3 of 7 Doom. Encounter card is Gift of Madness, Pity. We secretly add this to our hand. We can't attack lunatics. I don't think we actually planned to attack lunatics. Randomly choose one enemy from among the set-aside monsters to shuffle it back in. Sure. So we don't need to do that right now. And that's going to be our turn. So we are going to move. With our first action, we are going to move back to the mess hall, and we are going to attempt to use our track shoes to skip on by the young psychopath. So we're going 5v3. I'm going to commit the rabbit's foot. Do we want to resourceful this too? We could get a look what I found back, which would be helpful with the clues. Or a live and learn, which would also be helpful. Yeah, I think we commit the resourceful to this too. So we'll go 5, 6, 7 v3. Chaos Bag gives us yet another skull. I think I've drawn a skull on pretty much every check. We get a -3, so we were 7v3, so we pass. So we get a card back. Now the question is, what card do we want? Look what I found can get us clues, which is good in the basement. Live and learn is good just for passing a test if we need to, and neither rain nor snow gives us 3 wild skill icons. I'm going to take the look what I found. And so those go away. We skip past the young psychopath. I'm actually kind of happy that the psychopath did dance to the Yellow King, because that moved her out of the yard, which makes it a lot easier to get through that area when we want to leave this place. Let's investigate here. We might as well grab this clue. Or do we? No, I don't think we do. I think we keep moving, because if we stop, we will have to take a horror and gain 2 resources at the eastern wing. So we'll move twice more to the basement. 4 shroud location, 1 clue. We put the 4 set aside patient confinement locations into play, which I have set up here. We'll just put them over here because we've got a nice open space. So we need to find Daniel. And we have to spend clues in order to do that. So that's going to be our turn, it would seem. Enemy phase, nothing happens. Nothing happens at the end of our turn. We draw our other copy of Track Shoes. We go to the next Mythos phase. Turn 7, 4 of 7 Doom. We draw Whispers in Your Head, Dread. You cannot move more than once each turn. That's a problem. I don't like that one. We will have to get rid of that. We can actually try to cancel that. Let's play a test of will on that one. We will spend a resource, and so we have to test 3. So we're going 4v3. We're going 4v3. Chaos Bag says that's a -2, but we have Granny. So we're at 2v3, but then we can exhaust Granny to pass the skill test, and we will simply cancel Whispers in Your Head, Dread, so we can actually keep moving. That's what we want to do. Let's so yeah, that was a good play there. Let's spend a clue to move to one of the patient. We need to find Daniel, so let's pay a resource. Pay a clue. We'll move to the first one up here. 5 shroud location, 1 clue, test 2 combat to release the patient here from his bonds. If you succeed, he howls like a wolf and tears off through the basement. We have released a dangerous patient. We don't need to grab the clue in this particular location. So let's... we are going 3v2. Let's commit both copies of Stunning Blow. No, we only need to commit... Let's commit the gun and the leather coat. We don't need those because we are straight-jacketed. So we're going to go 5v2 to release the patient. Chaos Bag says -2, so the patient has been released. Wolfman Drew goes tearing through the asylum. We will mark that one as done. We have done 3. I think we need a total of 4 in order to complete that. So let's move back to the basement hall. And that's going to be our turn. Nothing at the end of our turn. Nothing during the enemy phase. We draw Scrounge for supplies. So we can swap that for any level 0 card. We've got a lot of good options in our discard pile for that, if necessary. We will gain our 3 actions. 5 of 7 Doom. It is turn 8. We draw another young psychopath. Another young psychopath was hiding in the basement, wielding her knife again. The staff really needs to take away the knives. All right. So that's a bit of a pain since she is sitting right where we need to be. Right where we need to get through. So I guess first up we evade. So we're going 5v3. Yeah, we'll go 5v3. Chaos Bag says -2, so the young psychopath is evaded. We hide in a corner of the basement and the young psychopath leaves. We will spend a clue to move to the next patient confinement area. We have found we advance to Act 2B. So we spawn the set-aside Daniel Chesterfield enemy face up at patient confinement. So we get Daniel. So what we can do, we're not going to kill him. We could use track shoes just to get out of here. It's not worth a VP. He is worth a VP. But what we can do is just leave. We're not really equipped to fight. So let's use the track shoes here. We move in, we spawn everything, and then we can react to try to move out. So we're going 5v3. I'm going to spend the commit the track shoes to go 6v3. Chaos Bag says -3, so we pass. So we zip out and leave Daniel in his cell. Now, I can't remember if there are, I know there are things at the other 2 locations, but we would need clues to go get those. We have no clues, so we need to grab a clue here. So we could go 3v... We're going 3v4 to investigate the basement. So we evaded, we moved, we track shoot back. We have 1 action, 3v4 to investigate. Chaos Bag sends us another skull because there is nothing but skulls in the asylum today. We draw an additional token. There's an Elder Sign. So we get a +1. We can choose to automatically fail this test if we want to heal a damage and a horror. Do we want to do that? If we were to automatically fail, we would get... We would heal a damage and a horror and draw a card and gain an action to do it again. Seems pretty good. Let's do that. So we will automatically fail the skill test. So we will heal a damage and a horror. We will draw a card with the rabbit's foot. We get another neither rain nor snow. And we gain an action back, so we can try this again. 3v4. Chaos Bag says... Oh, no, we have to do that. Reveal a... Yeah, if we fail... Do I really care? I don't care. I'm not going to... I will put another monster beneath the... I'll place another monster, sure. Why not? Let's do that. So there were 3 monsters beneath the act deck. But we did grab a card and we healed, so we can try one more time. 3v4. Chaos Bag gives us a 0. We will exhaust Granny Orn to give us a +1. So we steal this clue. And that's our turn. Very nice. We have nothing to do during the investigation phase. During the enemy phase, and then we upkeep. We draw the old key ring. Young Psychopath engages us, and we either take a horror. She gets +3 fight. That's fine. She's got the knife. Who's to argue with her? And that's it. It is turn number 9. So let me save the game here. And turn number 9, 6 of 7 doom. Encounter card is Corrosion. Discard item assets from play and or from your hand with a total printed resource cost of at least X, where X is the shroud. Ooh, this is a bad one. This is bad, bad, bad. We have to discard and or hand total printed cost of 4. So we lose... What do we lose here? We lose the track shoes and the old key ring. We can scrounge back for the track shoes. Yeah, that sucks. So I guess we lose the track shoes and the old key ring. So corrosion hits us pretty hard, but we can get the track shoes back. It's just our agility goes down temporarily. We actually have to advance. So Act 3A, I forgot to move there when we found Daniel. So if investigators have performed 4 of the following, we get to advance. So we have done 3. So we can actually start leaving at this point. We don't have to go... we can go up to the infirmary, grab that victory point, and then head north, and then trigger the 4th one at the garden to advance. So that seems like a good plan. I was going to go experiment over here in the patient confinement area, but we don't need to do that. So we'll head up to the infirmary this turn and try to get ourselves... I want my track shoes back, obviously. So we need to evade the young psychopath. We're going 4 versus 3. I'm going to commit neither rain nor snow to go 7 versus 3. Chaos Bag says -2, so we pass. So she is evaded. Young psychopath, we found another hidey hole in the basement, and we leave her behind. Let's move up to the eastern patient wing and then move over to the infirmary. Infirmary is a 3-shroud location worth a victory point, heal 1 damage and take 1 direct horror, or heal 1 horror and take 1 direct damage. We're not going to be doing any of that. We just want the clue for the VP. And then we will be making our way to the garden to get out of here. All right. That was our turn. Nothing happens at the end of our turn. We draw an old key ring during the upkeep phase. We are advancing. So now our good buddy Constance comes out. Lead investigator must randomly choose an enemy from among the set-aside monster enemies and shuffle it into the encounter deck. We'll just take this one here. Sure. Shuffle that into the encounter deck. Constance comes out. She is at the garden. Fortunately, Constance is incredibly easy to evade. So Constance is at the garden. We'll move this young psychopath down so she's in the mess hall, so we don't get confused. This one's in the basement. Daniel's hanging out in his room. So Constance is going to come chase us. And we have 8 turns in order to win this game. So we've got lots of time. Lots of time. And we need to draw an encounter card, which is going to be another corrosion. We discard item assets from play. Total printed cost of our... we lose the old key ring in our hand due to that. Doesn't surge, fortunately. We go to the investigation phase. First action, we are going to play scrounge for supplies to get our booties back. We want our shoes. Second action, we will play said shoes. third action, we are going to investigate the infirmary. So we are back up to 5 agility, and we can dodge through enemies. We will go, what are we doing? 4v3? 3v3? 3v3, Chaos Bag says, -4. Ouch. So we fail that test badly, but we get to draw a card. We get a lucky, and we get an action back, so we can try again. 3v3. Chaos Bag gives us a -1, so we can use Granny to give us +1, and we grab this clue. All right. So we've earned 1, 2, 3. We got the 3 VPs from locations? We did. All right, now we can start making our way out. Enemy phase, Constance hunts down to the yard. She is stalking us. And we have nothing during our turn. During upkeep, we draw an unexpected courage. And that's going to be everything, I think. Mythos phase. It is turn 11, 1 Doom of 8. Our encounter card is Gift of Madness Pity, or Misery, sorry. You cannot trigger action abilities on locations. That's a problem because we do need to do that one more time. So that we will be getting rid of. So let's randomly choose one enemy from, so we will gain our 3 actions back first of all. Whoops. So we're going to go, so we need to get rid of Gift of Madness Misery first. So we're going to take an action to do that. So we randomly choose an enemy from among the set-aside monsters and place it beneath the act deck. So it'll be this one. We will... So we've dealt with that annoying card. Now we've got 2 actions left. We can go... Move track shoes to Western. Move up to Domain. Kind of in an awkward position here. We're kind of in an awkward position because Domain is going to come down to that. I mean, we could just take the damage. That's an option. We just take the damage, and we've got plenty of health, plenty of soak. Yeah, let's just move there. We will skip past the Eastern Patient Wing. I don't want to take a horror, but we will hang out at the Western Patient Wing. The only trouble is that we're kind of opening ourselves up to 2 enemies this way. But I'd rather Constance come down here, and then we can deal with... Yeah, we'll do that. It's a bit of a risk, but... nothing happens at the end of our turn. Enemy phase, Constance shows up and attacks us for 2 damage. And that's going to be it, I think. Nobody else is moving around. During our turn... Oh, there's Called by the Mists. Put Call to Mists into play in your threat area. Okay. I don't think I've ever drawn her weakness before. Put it into play in our threat area. After you initiate a skill test with a difficulty of 4 or higher, we take a damage. Okay, that's pretty painful. Could be potentially quite painful. But we have to take 2 actions to get rid of it. I don't think we actually have any more high skill tests to worry about. We go to turn 12. For those of you at home, we have in our hand, we've got Look What I Found, 2 copies of Stunning Blow, a Lucky, Gift of Madness, Pity, which means we can't attack lunatic enemies, and an Unexpected Courage. There is 2 of 8 Doom, and our encounter card is going to be the Yellow Sign. Test 4 Willpower. If you fail, take 2 Horror and search your deck for a Madness weakness. Draw that card and shuffle your deck. So we're testing 4. So that after you initiate a skill test with a difficulty of 4 or higher, we take a damage. So we will remember the Called by the Mists on that one. Does this matter? Take 2 Horror and search our deck for a Madness weakness. I can't remember if the thing that follows is a Madness. Probably not. So let's drawing thin this one. Let's make it a 6. So we're going 4v6, but we do get to gain 2 resources or draw a card. I'll just gain a resource. I don't need to draw any. I don't need to draw into my weakness. I'll just gain 2 resources. So we are probably going to fail this. We auto-fail. Wow, I haven't drawn an auto-fail. That's one thing I've noticed, is that since I've been doing Game of the Day, the number of auto-fails has plummeted. Because drawing auto-fails was my thing. That's what Man from Ling was known for, was drawing auto-fails. And I'm not drawing as many, so that's good. But we do fail badly, so we take 2 Horror. We do get to trigger, we do get an extra action, thanks to Stella's ability. We get to trigger Rabbit's Foot to draw a card. We get to take Heart. Well, if I'd drawn a card, I would have really gotten a lot out of that. Had I drawn a card instead of gaining the resources, I would have gotten 2 more. I would have drawn 3 cards and 2 resources out of that. I don't think I have a Madness weakness in my deck, but I will look anyway just to make sure. The thing that follows was right at the bottom, and it is a monster, so no Madness weakness to speak of. All right, we need to evade Constance. We are going 5v1. So that's easy. Should be easy enough to do. -3. So first action, we evade Constance. Constance is evaded. Second action, we move to the yard. Third action, we move to the garden. I believe we get to ignore text on unrevealed side of all Arkham Horror locations, so we can move into the garden. So evade, move. That puts us at 1 action. If there are no clues on the garden, we can test 2 agility to remember that we have distracted the guards. So we need to discover this clue. We are going 3v3. Let's go 5v3. Chaos Bag says -1. We succeed. We grab this clue. And that's going to be our turn. That was a 3, so we don't trigger Called by the Mists. Thank goodness. Yeah. So that's our turn. We have one turn, I think one turn to go. We will basically trigger the action on the garden to complete our fourth thing for this act, and then we can resign. So I think we're in pretty good shape heading into the final round here. We go, that was the investigation phase. Nothing during the end of our turn or the enemy phase. We draw a will to survive. A will to survive 0, so we can basically reveal no chaos tokens. So we can do that very easily for this skill test. It is turn 13, 3 Doom of 8. We draw the Descent into Madness. If we have at least 3 horror, we lose an action. So let's get our actions here so we can keep track. So we lose an action, and that will surge. Surges into another yellow sign. Again, this is not particularly dangerous to us. We can go 4v4 on this one. Let's just draw a token. We get a -2. We'll play the lucky to pass it. So we do not fail. And it is our turn. So we need to pass this agility skill test. Test 2 agility. Let's use will to survive. Nah, we don't need to do that. We'll save that just in case we really need a pass. So we're going to go 5v2 to pass the agility skill test. We get an elder sign. We can automatically fail that to heal a damage in a horror. I am not going to do that. So we have completed that, which triggers Act 3A. Shuffle the encounter discard pile and each enemy beneath the act deck into the encounter deck. There were 3 enemies in there. Those go in there. Those go in there. We shuffle. If at least 3 monsters were shuffled into the encounter deck by this effect, the investigator with the lowest willpower discards cards from the top of the encounter deck until a monster enemy is discarded and draws that enemy. So that did happen. So we have to discard cards from the encounter deck until a monster appears. We have 1 action in order to evade that enemy. There is the Bayaki. And so garden gains, if there is no ready enemy in the garden, we can resign. So we need to basically we need to evade this this Bayaki. And then ooh, this could get kind of interesting here. So the Bayaki, because we have, oh no, we have more than 4. While engaged with an investigator with remaining 4 sanity or fewer, we have 5 sanity, so it doesn't get the +1 evade. So it's 3 evade, which means we Called by the Mists does not trigger. So we're going 5v3. So Do not reveal a chaos token. So we could either play Will to Survive now or save it for the next evade next turn, since we're going to have to evade this enemy. Let's just go 5v3. Chaos Bag says Skull. That is a minus something. It's been a while since we've drawn a Skull. Draw an additional token. There's an Elder Sign. That's a +1. And we have the choice of failing. We're not going to fail, because we want to evade the Bayaki. And that will be the end of our turn. Constance moves up. All right, so we go to enemy phase. Constance moves up. The Bayaki just hangs out until upkeep. We draw our Derringer. We re-engage the Bayaki. We have 1 turn. We need to evade the Bayaki and then resign, ideally, if everything works out. So we will do that. Mythos phase. It is turn 14. There is 4 of 8 doom. We really don't want to draw an enemy here. And counter deck throws us another yellow sign. Holy cow. 3 yellow signs back to back to back. We're going 4v4. Do I care? We'll take 2 horror. That would boost the Bayaki to a 4. I don't think this is a problem. So we're going to go 4v4. We may end up taking 2 horror. Actually, we take, because of we initiate a skill test with Called by the Mists, so we take a damage. We will do 4v4. We auto-fail that one. But that gives us an additional action. So we end up taking 2 horror, and we search our deck for Madness Weakness. We don't have that. Granny Orn can take the horror for us. And so that keeps the Bayaki down at 3. 3 evade. So we don't trigger Called by the Mists again. And I may have missed a Called by the Mists trigger in there somewhere, but I think we're okay. So we will go, we need to evade the Bayaki. We are going 5v3. I'm going to play Will to Survive for 4. So we do not reveal chaos tokens for the next skill test. So we are going 5v3. So we easily evade the Bayaki and then we resign, since there are no ready enemies at the garden. And that is Unspeakable Oath. So it got a little bit. The playthrough I felt went really quite smoothly for the most part. It got a little bit tricky there at the end with Called by the Mist coming out, and then we had a bunch of skill tests that popped that we needed to pass, but we had enough soak to deal with it. And we had our shoes. Losing our shoes to corrosion was rough, but we had a scrounge for supplies to get them back. We managed to clear, I believe, all of the victory point locations. I don't think either of these patient confinement quarters is a victory point. No, they are not. So we got the victory points. We didn't deal with Daniel, of course, but that's... you don't actually have to deal with Daniel, which is kind of nice. And so, yeah, that's the Unspeakable Oath with Stella Clark. Another fantastic deck by Lord Tryloth. He's rapidly, or they are rapidly becoming one of my favorite deck builders. Very strong decks. I did actually modify this one slightly. He had built, or they had built the level 0 version of the deck. And so I added some experience points to it based on their recommendations, which included Granny Orn and the Drawing Thin. So if you take a look at Lord Tryloth's deck online, it is this is the XP version of it. Just bumped it up a little bit. But yeah, a fairly typical playthrough. Big thank you to patron Laurel for asking for this game. Remember that you can fill out the survey in the description down below. If there is a game that you would like to see, fill out the survey, let me know, and I will do my best to bring that to you. We've got quite a few games lined up. You guys really like your survivors. There are a lot of games. We've got. People want to see Calvin. People want to see Silas. There's lots of Survivor games being recommended. There are a couple others in there. A couple of other investigators that we will tackle as well. So that is the Unspeakable Oath. I will be back tomorrow with another game of the day. I hope that you enjoyed this one. So until tomorrow, I hope that you have a fantastic day and stay safe out there. Take care. That's going to do it for this episode. If you enjoyed what you hear, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you need to contact me, I can be reached at manfromlang@gmail.com. I'm also on Twitter at manfromlang. Until the stars are right, keep your shotgun close and your other sign closer. Take care out there, and happy investigating.